Okay, welcome to take 3 of this tutorial because I can't get the right rain luck. It's ridiculous. Actually, just can't get any kind of reasonable, like, I don't understand what's happening, but okay, we're just gonna go into this. Okay. Okay, this is Bluebird. This is where you play a funny tune with Lewis on a special flute. Don't take that the wrong way. And it attracts some magical bluebird, which happens to save the town. Now the lore is that, of course, that the blue feather, which is the traditional Harvest Moon marriage proposal tool, is shed by this bluebird. Actually, Tree of Tranquility. That's like actually how you obtain the blue feather. You follow a bluebird, which is kind of cool because this is usually not typical. Now, of course, you don't get married in this game, but this is kind of a shout out to that lore, I suppose. But yeah, so this is one of those endings where you do just befriend one NPC. I've already said all this now twice, but if the game would just cooperate, then I could show you exactly how this works. We're just going to name ourselves, and yeah, so the goddess question pattern is positive, so that means the default answer 3 times in a row, and Lewis will get plus 15 at the end of this cutscene. And as I said, he is the only villager that you need to befriend for this ending, so it's one of the more straightforward ones. It's also one of the ones that has been kind of the most kind of explored. It's been the most widely run as well. Remember, you can skip after that part of the cutscene. After you name your farm, you can just press start. So, so the history of this ending is that when Uber first did his runs, Uber, rest in peace, HMSR Granddaddy, he would go to talk to Lewis right away in the morning. I mean, he would basically try to get to him every single day. So one of the optimizations that we made over time was, because sleeping's so fast in Save the Homeland, it's actually fastest in a lot of cases to skip to the days that they're more quickly available. In the case of Lewis, on his work days, which is any day but Monday and Saturday, he doesn't come out of his house until 7, and you have to meet him up here. Now, crucially, another thing Uber would do, and I'll just pause it, was he would talk to Lewis here, like right as he's walking out of the house. And if you watch my Basic Affection video, you know there's a problem with that, because in that state, he's actually transitioning from 2 locations, from inside the house to his little position here. So you can see he stopped, and he'll pace around, but he's considered in location, meaning he's stationary outside his shop and his house. And so here he will get a +4 boost. But as he's walking out here, he'll only get a +2 boost, which is the traditional standard walking boost. So it's not only slower, but you also get less affection from the conversation. So because he's immediately available on Wednesday and Saturday, so I'm not even going to talk to him. That was just for illustration. Because he's immediately available on Wednesday and Saturday, that is what we're going to aim to do, is just gift him on those days. As I said, sleeping is very fast. Okay, no rain. So I'm going to show you. Another thing to keep in mind is that I didn't say this I mentioned how you need to track the day of the week without pausing, because it's fastest, of course. One way you can do that, as long as you already know you need to leave your house, then you can keep track of what day of the week it is by who's in this screen when you first walk in here. If you go straight from your house, Parsley will be walking out of Ronald's on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and Gina will be standing there by Ronald's chicken coop, on Wednesday and Saturday. And also, Lewis, even though you can't see him from this angle, he'll be in Ronald's garden on Saturdays. So on Wednesdays, I would say that it's optimal probably to reset for no rain on the first Wednesday and the first Saturday. You don't have to, but it's optimal because we do need to do a first pass foraging. We're actually going to combine most of our foraging into some of the cutscene days, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But ideally, you do want your introduction to be here. and he's here on Wednesday. So you'd like to reset for no rain on this day, the second day of the season. It's actually the third day of the season, but it's the second playable day of the season. So we're gonna do an intro plus a gift. So remember, so the notes say that, remember that means we introduce to him and then we give a gift. So you can either put him in your pockets. This is something I haven't timed. It depends on how far he is from the very berries. So it might be faster to go and pick it up and then bring it to him, because otherwise you have to put it in your pocket and then take it back out. So that's something that's like a tiny optimization. Some of these tiny things I haven't necessarily looked into. Like I said, it depends on, because the arrangement of the very berries is random, and also his location is random because he can pace around. It varies. If you want to get super nitty gritty about it, then be my guest. Be interested. But you also want to pick another one. Wait a minute. No, that's tools. Okay. So you also want to pick another one. So you could also reset, for example, for two very berries at least, or you could get an herb too. So that's okay. That's another thing to point out. I guess I didn't say that. Actually, I didn't say that in the other two iterations of this, the first two takes. Keep track. Yeah. So it'll say in my paste, in my basic affection notes paste, which I'll also link in the description. But he can take a number of herbs. Oh no, it says in these notes too. So he can take very berries, blueberries, or either of the herbs. He just won't take flowers, and that's pretty typical of the male characters. Kurt will take moondrop flowers, and as well as pink catmint flowers. So it varies, but typically they'll take berries and herbs, and then the girls will take flowers in addition to that. And then there's some minor nuances, but okay. So we're gonna sleep until Saturday. So Friday. Okay, good. Finally, no rain. Okay, so the cutscenes are triggered at, this is a very straightforward ending, so that's why I'm kind of just doing it this way, but the cutscenes are triggered. Cutscene 1 is 20 AP affection. Cutscene 2 is 60, cutscene 3 is 120, cutscene 4 is 180. Doesn't mean anything just to rattle it off like that, but the first 3 cutscenes take place in the same location. So I did testing to see if I could trigger them all on the same day, for example. It turns out that you can't trigger cutscene 1 and cutscene 2 on the same day, but you can trigger cutscene 2 and cutscene 3 on the same day. So we're going to be triggering cutscene 2 or cutscene 1 by itself, and we've already met. So it's Saturday. We've already met the requirements for cutscene 1. So it's 20 affection, as I said, and so you literally meet that affection requirement simply by getting the plus 15 from the goddess questions and talking to him one time, right? So on Saturdays he's gonna be here. One thing to note that's kind of annoying about this game, in A Wonderful Life you can run around and change the camera angle at the same time. In this game you can't do that. So it actually loses you time. In this case it doesn't matter because I'm gonna be waiting till the end of till the cutscene. You can't trigger the cutscene until 2 p.m. So I'm not losing time right now, but to change the camera angle, but oftentimes you do. So you can kind of, if you know where the entrance is to this little crook, you just kind of want to position yourself in there, and then you should be able to find him. And then if you can, the only fear is accidentally throwing your gift, obviously, classic Harvest Moon, instead of giving it to him. So if you talk to him first, and then pull out the item, you'll already be facing him from the conversation. So as long as you do it relatively quickly, he's already there. So as long as the text box comes up, you know you're right there. So okay, we talked to him. Okay, so here's another thing to note. This is really annoying. This is the thing that actually Soren's runs help the most with, and I do not understand this for the life of me. And I should have done a save state. I'll show it in a minute, but so you can see he got +5 from that interaction. This is very important, by the way, so yeah, keep this in mind. So I'm going to give this to him. So you can see he got +5 from that interaction, and then he got +4 from the gift. So he actually just got +9. So now what we're going to, okay, maybe I'll talk about that in a minute. Just give me a sec. So what we're going to do now is, like I said, since we have to wait till about 2 p.m., I'm going to do most of the rest of my foraging now. So maybe this is a bit boring. I am kind of just walking through this. There's not much to this ending, so it kind of makes sense to do this. So you can grab, I'm just kind of showing you where you can go. Now, obviously you lose time for every loading zone you go through, but it is still fastest to do it this way, because you can't get all 16 gifts. Actually, by now it would be 14 because I've already done you know, 2 gifts. You couldn't really load up on all of them just in the initial area, because actually the cutscene's triggered here. So ideally you would not even enter this area, and you just walk from the carpenter's area here. You know, and I suppose you can choose if you like, because the other cutscene will be triggered in quite a few days. So it'll be triggered at 120, because remember, the cutscene 2 is triggered at 60, cutscene 3 is triggered at 120, but we're gonna wait to trigger cutscene 2 until we've already met the requirements for cutscene 3. So we actually have quite a few more gifts to go until 120. So I would say, I have 2, 4, 6. Wait, I didn't notice I have this in my hands. So I have 2, 4, 7. Okay, and I need another 12. So honestly, I don't even really need to go into the goddess area. And remember, if I go into the goddess area, I have to skip the cutscene. So that's going to be slow, because actually the cutscene adds additional lag to the loading zone. So we're not even going to bother with that. We're going to wait until the next Saturday. So basically, we split our foraging into the 2 days that we're going to be triggering the cutscenes. And as you can see, basically Lewis is going to start walking this way at about, I can't remember what time right now. It's only 11 o'clock. And we literally have to wait until about 2 p.m. So, yeah, okay. So yeah, I'll cover what I was saying about the affection boost, but just for now to note, because I'll make a save state and I'll kind of demonstrate the difference in a minute on the next day. Just crucial to note is just that I talked to him before I gave him a gift. And in general, that's a general rule of thumb that I follow because of what I'm going to show you. And it's a little bit annoying because I don't understand why it happens. But yeah, if somebody wants to do some hardcore research, please get at me. So you can see, it's basically, if I recall, it's basically like 25 seconds per hour, 25 real seconds, you know, real-time seconds per in-game hour. So the way the math works out is you want to wait. I think I have this in the notes. It doesn't say in the notes, but you want to wait about, because he's actually going to enter this area. Basically, I use my timer to tell what time it is. So obviously, in a speedrun, you have a timer going on. So I look at the timer when he disappears. So he just disappeared, and I need to wait till about 2 p.m. And that's about, you know, that's 45 in-game minutes. So that's about, you know, like I said, that's 25 seconds, 25 real seconds per hour. So, you know, 3/4 of an hour. So that's 0.75 times 25 real-time seconds. So that's about 18.75 seconds. So normally what I do is when he disappears, I wait 19 or 20 seconds. What you don't want to do is enter early so that the cutscene won't trigger, because then you have to walk out and walk back in. So that's very slow. So you better be safe than sorry. So I just wait about 20 seconds on my timer after I see hit. And you kind of have to angle yourself in such a way that you can see when he deloads, going through that loading zone. But yeah, so that's roughly what I do. So it's about 19 or 20 seconds. And now I don't have a timer on, and also this is a bit inconsistent. So then you want to walk in, and we'll get the cutscene. So this is the first cutscene. You see him playing his flute to some birdies, whatever. We're just gonna skip it. And again, like I said, you can just hold start, and you know that the cutscene triggered because the music will stop, and then it will resume when the cutscene would resume. So if the music continues and you just appear in the lake area, you know that you didn't trigger the cutscene and you need to leave and then go back. And as you can see, Lewis did get a plus, I believe he got +3 from that. Yeah, he got +3 because we got +9. We went from 31 to 40, and then he got +3 from that cutscene. So as far as the gift count and the interaction count is concerned, I have that all factored in. I should say I have the cutscene boost factored in. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, let me see this. I'm just going to kind of make this simple, and I'm going to I'll go to the Wednesday. This is Tuesday. Okay, good. Okay, so, yeah, okay, Wednesday. Okay, so I'll use Cheat Engine to finish the rest of the ending. This is just worth pointing out, just because I think a lot of people would miss this. Even if I said it, you would hear it, but you wouldn't know why. So it's kind of helpful to just kind of point this out. Okay, right. So it's Wednesday. So remember, at Wednesday he's not at the garden, at Ronald's garden. He is going to be in the carpenter area. So this applies to both of these locations, and I've found other examples of this too. But there are other factors that appear to affect this. Potentially weather. Luckily today, on this day in particular, this is actually sunny weather. So okay, so I'm gonna make a save state. I'm kind of sketched about what save state I'm gonna save over, but it's okay. I'm gonna save over slot 0. Actually, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, so this was my... Okay, fair enough, whatever. Okay. So I'm going to... So I'll just show this first. So I'll talk to him. As you can see, 48, so 43 to 48, that's +5. And then, of course, I'll just do this just for demonstration purposes, just to see what number it ends up at. We'll get another +4, or yeah, so we'll get +5 into a +4, that's 52. Okay. So we went from 43 to 52, that's +9 total. So now we're gonna load slot 0. And now, wait. I am going to gift him first. So you got +4 from the gift, as we suspected. Now we are gonna talk to him. And oddly enough, we are at 51. So we got +4 into +4. I have no idea why this happens. I have been able to find other examples of this, but it varies, and I don't know what causes it. I don't know if it's hard-coded, or if this is just... It could be due to text boxes. It could be because you already gifted him. I honestly don't know what causes it, so I'd love to know more, but all that you need to know is that you get more affection by gifting him, by talking to him and then gifting him, and all my calculations take into account that you do that. So yeah, so you just have to do that. So again, we will just, because you get +5 from the, yeah, anyway, so if it wasn't obvious, the reason is because you get +5 from the conversation if it's your first interaction of that day. You get +4 if you gifted him first. So see, we're gonna get +5, and now we're gonna get +4. So again, this applies to his garden location and this location. Anyway, okay, so this is the Wednesday though. So again, what you would now do is you would, oh wait, actually, oh no, never mind. Yeah, so what you would do is you would continue gifting him. You need to make sure that you have enough gifts, basically, that will cover you until 120. So that is one thing I didn't point out. So I don't know how many gifts that is, but I could figure that out and update the notes. But basically, you need 18 gifts total, but you want to do some of your foraging on the day of the second group of cutscenes. Sorry, I'm getting into kind of minute detail here. I'm not trying to be like super verbose or anything like that. I'm just trying to be detailed. Okay, good, no rain. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of skip ahead. I'm gonna use Cheat Engine to give him the amount of affection that we would like. That's 120. So remember, that is the requirement for cutscene 3. So we have exceeded the requirement for cutscene 2, reached cutscene 3, and actually, wait, no. Actually, wait. So the way that it's actually factored in, if you wanted to calculate, you know, actually like down to the very last, what you can, the way that I actually made it work is, it's actually 117, and this is where a boost from cutscenes come into play. I think my right. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's 115. Yeah. Right. So, and that's what my notes say. So you can do it a couple different ways. I could figure out what the number of interactions is. I actually don't know, because sometimes I use a spreadsheet to track, and I do that just by using cells to represent each different type of boost. You know, a conversation boost, a gift boost, etc. So that way I know exactly how much affection he has. And so the reason why, so like I said, 120 is the requirement. I'll just speed up. 120 is the requirement for cutscene 3, and I'm going to trigger cutscene 2 and cutscene 3 on the same day because they both are triggered in the exact same way as cutscene 1, which means you have to reach the threshold and enter this area on a Saturday at 2 p.m. When Lewis is here. Of course, it has to be a non-rainy Saturday. But so the reason why 115 works is because the second cutscene gives you +5. So you're actually meeting the requirement. Cutscene 2 is helping you to meet the requirement for cutscene 3. So as soon as you reach 115, so let's say, for example, that I started this Saturday with I would need to start this Saturday with a minimum of 106 because I would get +9 for my interaction with Lewis. So that would be +5 for the conversation, +4 for the gift. 116 plus 9 is 115. I'm sorry, 106 plus 9 is 115. And then I would wait for him to enter the area, do the rest of my foraging, which I would do. So let me just emphasize that's what I would do now is I would collect all these berry berries. I would go in the other area and collect all those. Then I would come back here, wait for him to pass me. And you can watch this happen in real time. So we're gonna wait for him to pass us. He's gonna disappear. You can kind of mostly see that he disappeared. We are gonna we're gonna wait for 20 seconds or so. It's already been about 5 seconds, so I mean, I'll just check the clock, obviously. 150. But of course, every time you pause, obviously time loss. So I'm just trying to give you guys tips for how you can kind of gauge that without pausing. And now we are free to enter the area. Now this is the second cutscene, so it's literally the same thing. He's feeding the birds. I can't remember if this is the one with Lila. I don't think it is. I think the next cutscene is Lila. Okay, so he's gonna get +5. So now we can immediately exit and immediately re-enter. Boom. So this, I believe this is the one with Lila. Anyway, so that's literally as simple as it is. So as I said, you can just, yeah, Lila, yeah. You can literally just sleep through any day that is raining or is not Wednesday or Saturday. And somebody's texting me. Some of this you may need to figure out for yourself, especially like what's the minimum number of gifts that you need to collect before today, because you would want to save as much of the. I mean, if you can get all your foraging done on the first day of cutscenes, on the day of the first cutscene. Remember, they're both Saturdays that you need to trigger. Cutscene 1 on one Saturday and cutscene 2 and 3 on a different Saturday. So you want to space out your foraging such that you go through as few loading zones as possible. So you want to know how few gifts you can get away, or forageables you can get away with to bridge the gap between cutscene 1 and cutscene 2 and 3. I would imagine it's quite a few because now, just spoilers, now we need to get him to 180. So I'm going to do that right now because I can just do that. But so now I would need to gift him, however many more times. It would be something like, again, I just use a spreadsheet. This one's really easy to use a spreadsheet for because you're literally just tracking one character and the gift schedule is very simple. I can link to my spreadsheets too. In fact, I could probably make community spreadsheets if people wanted to use them. So now he's at 123, which means to get to 180 for the final cutscene, he needs another 57 divided by 9 is roughly 7 more interactions. One of them can be just a talk. So, and that's another thing that you'll notice in my notes. I specify what each interaction is. Normally, you start off with a gift and then with an intro plus a gift, and then every interaction after that is conversation, gift, conversation, gift, conversation, gift, right, for each interaction. And then the final interaction, you might only need a few extra affection points, which means it's fastest to just go talk to them. because you could just give them a gift, but the gift would require you to pick it up and then put it in your pocket, so there's no need, and pull it out of your pocket, obviously. There's no need to do that if you can just talk to them. So my notes might specify that. I actually need to check that. On the last day, just talk. Exactly. So my notes say that. Okay. No gift. Okay. So yeah. So now the final cutscene can be triggered only one day. Literally just one sleep after the third cutscene, you can trigger cutscene 4. As long as you've reached 180. In a speedrun, you won't have done that, most likely, because you'll trigger it on the soonest Saturday that you can. Now, of course, the rainy season gets in the way. That's another thing to note. That's something that you just have to kind of work around. As I've said in previous videos, you can get no rain in the rainy season. I mean, you can get lucky and get no rain on any given day of the rainy season. So ideally, you would get no rain on this Wednesday and no rain on this Saturday, on the 17th and the 20th. Is it likely? No. So you just kind of work with it. This is not something that I split hairs over. I'm sure my run can be beaten with more optimal. I actually don't remember how good my Bluebird run is, but anyway. So now we'll leave our house, and Lewis will meet us, and I'll show you this little mini game. I'll see if I can do it. It's kind of hard. I'm doing it on a keyboard right now. I think you have to use D-pad for this. I think you can't use, and you wouldn't use stick, even joystick, even if you could. So he's gonna ask you if you want to go play the flute with him. Take that as you will, but we are going to accept his invitation. Thank you very much. Seems like a lonely guy, So in this minigame, you want to hold, in the English version, you want to hold X. In the Japanese version, they swapped X and circle for some reason. So you want to hold circle, I believe. And that's just, this says to hold circle, but in the English version, you'll be holding X. So then it's color coded, the direction that you push. And the notes are going to be, you're going to have a note above your head that lights up when the notes that are coming along pass over it. And I found that it's easiest, there's a song, obviously he's playing the flute, so there's an audio cue, but for whatever reason, the audio cue doesn't really line up with the visual cue, and the game is waiting for you to press the direction when the note lights up the note over your head. So you'll have notes passing from right to left, and each note that passes over the note above your head will light it up, and you want to time your directional input with that visual cue, not with the audio cue. So I try and ignore the beat of the music as much as possible, because otherwise it throws me off. It's pretty flexible. I would guess, if I had to estimate, I bet you could get as low as 60% of the notes and you still complete the ending. But if you fail and you miss too many notes, he just asks you if you want to do it again. So you'll lose time, but you still complete the ending. So for those of you filthy casuals out there who are just trying to complete this ending, it's quite simple. So try this. Hopefully we can get this first try. So pink is left. Also an emulator, so it's a bit laggy, so I'm having to aim a little bit sooner. Damn. That was probably good enough, to be honest. So again, you're just holding X on the English version. Good. Yep. Okay, so then when this triggers, I don't remember. I think if it fails, you just stay on that screen and he says, hey, you suck. Try again. Anyway, so yeah, so then you can just immediately skip this. And that's basically ending over. So now, this is very typical of most of the endings. You'll see this time and time again. In this game, but now I need to sleep a week, and that's in this case though I don't need to go anywhere. He will immediately come to my farm, so there's no fear. 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7. There's, wait, what? I believe he just comes here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Actually, I take that back. You do actually have to go to the lake. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So this is pretty similar to Azure Swallowtail then, meaning that because the final cutscene doesn't occur on your farm and you need to sleep a week, you don't want to obviously go to the lake if it's raining, so you need to sleep a week and then skip any rainy days and go on the first non-rainy day to the lake area. And there you go. Okay. And I already explained this in the Azure Swallowtail video, but you know, you're gonna play through this cutscene, you're gonna trigger the credits. The credits will play after this cutscene, and then you will time will stop after the cutscene that comes after the credits. So you do want to continue. You want to keep your timer going during the credits. A little bit maybe unintuitive for people, but anyway. So if you have any questions, definitely hit me up, and I'll be glad to help.